like I can give you something of WhatsApp, at least 60 to 70% of it, but you people might not be able to do it. We're still going to get there. So, but that can actually inform the line of what I want, the route that I really want to take us through. Because you see, Android is split into different parts. There is service part of the Android. There are different parts that even you can see somebody that has 4 years of experience and tell you that he has not really laid their hands on this. But it's not that they might know it theoretically, but practically they might not have actually done what is related to that. Because actually project informed how much we know in the the project really our hands upon actually inform the level of our experience in the field. So that's just the reason why I'm saying that we should suggest. But as we are going, definitely assignment is going to be coming in for us for anything we do. When we get to the Android side of the thing, you people will be even so tired of the assignment because for everything we do, because the Android side is more practical side, because now we are doing more of coding something that looks a bit abstract to us. But on the Android side, you're going to see the coding and you're going to see something that you can interact with, from your phone. So that's the good side of that one. So go ahead. Somebody's raising of you can go ahead.
All right. Thank you, brother. I think I will suggest something. We should have a project in mind. Sherry, Teba will need school no. Come out for your assignment. But before the end of the session of any classes, okay, there will be a project that will be done after everything that you've been learning. But within that time range, we finish projecting. But if we have a project in mind now that, let's do this, and that thing we start working on it, even though we don't know it, but we start working on it bit by bit. By the time we know, because project mind all the time. Okay, how am I going to resolve this problem that I'm having there? How am I going to resolve the challenges I'm having there? And from there, when there's a challenge, there will be a solution to that challenge. And from there, you will learn something. I understand. So,
yeah, sure.
Brother John,
anyway, I agree to everything. I'm going to sit down and draft something that I think but still I'm going to need. I know we are not plenty, but I'm still going to need all of us to come up with some ideas that we can build up at later on. But I do have little project to give us as an assignment when we get to the Android side of the thing. So do we conclude that we should move on today? I should not do any recap.
No.
We should
we can move on.
Okay.
Thank you.
So can we all see my screen? Yeah, so today we're going to be looking at sorry, I'm coming. We're going to be looking at some of the the loops, the why and the break and the whatsoever. Those are the things that we're going to be looking at today. I don't know if anybody actually have any challenges in whatsoever that we've done so far so good. And did anybody try anything?
I won't lie to you. I didn't try anything, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I forgot most of what you taught us so far. But I know I can catch up anyway. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So sorry, I have my little ones here today, so don't mind the whole cartoon thing that you guys are hearing. So today we're just going to look into the why, into some of these conditional statements the last class, we actually look into if and else statement, which is conditional statement. So we'll continue with that today. We're going to look into when, while, some break, and continue. I'm just going to quickly rush this for us tonight. We can go through over this video and because the next class, I want us to actually go into the object-oriented part of the programming, and that will be the end of the Kotlin for us before we move into the Android. So yeah, we don't really have much of those time. Again, let me just name this lesson 5. I believe we still remember our main, what our main is all about, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that makes sense. I want to try to hide the floating. Okay. Yeah, so if you remember that, I remember the last time we actually have the if and else statement where we are trying to giving condition to something that if the current hour of the day is less than something and it's greater than something, do something. And those are the conditional statements. So it's more of like a decision making. So we want to look into the when states, how to use the when statement today. Is a keyword in Kotlin. But here's the thing. The instead of using if and else, sometimes, in fact, if it is not that, it is very, very important. I think in Kotlin, you should always use when statements. It's more of instead of writing your if and else expression, you should use when. You can use when expression, which is, number one, it makes your work, your code readable. But one of the main goals when you're writing code is not about writing code alone. You must make the code readable, and try to be explanatory and comprehensive enough. So that's how your code should look like. So instead of writing different if and else expression that is most especially when you have more than if and else statement, more than one if and else statement. Imagine you write an if and else statement. Imagine you write an if and else statement and s, and let's say something like this, and you still not have another if and else statement inside of it. I'm not saying this is bad. Trust me, I'm not saying it is bad. I'm not saying it's not allowed. But when your code is getting bigger, it makes it so hard to actually read. So when actually makes it more easier to read. Let's say for instance, I have the value. Let's say I want to print day of the week. Let's say I have I have value of the day to be, let's say 5, right? And remember, this is an integer. This is of the other type of an integer. And I want to print Monday to Friday. I want to print Monday to Friday, right? I want to print Monday to Friday. Day one, let's say the day of the week start from Monday. Let's say for instance, so people say the day of the week start from Sunday. Let's say day of the week starts from Sunday, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. So let's say if Sunday is the day 1, we actually say that 1 should be whenever the value of day is 1, it means that it has to print Sunday, right? So I can actually say that, I can write an if and else statement and say if day. I can write an if and else statement and say if day equals to 1, you get I can say, maybe let's say I do have a value that says results, which is equals to, I'll make it like this, and an empty string, and as do like this, I can say here results equals to Monday, right? So according to our last class, and say if day equals to 2. So let's make this Sunday. Or the way I do something like this. Results equals to, right, Monday. Something like this. Just keep going. I'm going to stop when I get to Wednesday. As if day equals to 3, which will give me Wednesday, which will give me Tuesday. So let's just say yes. We understand what I'm trying to do, right? Like, so results equals to, if we don't have, if it doesn't meet any requirements, we just want to print invalid day. Let's say for instance, like for instance now, if day is not equals to 5, definitely, if we put day equals to 5, because it doesn't meet any of these requirements, right? There is no, we are saying if day equals to 1, yet equals to 2, equals to 3. There's nowhere we write any statement that says if day equals to 5. So definitely we are saying that it's going to be an invalid day, because our conditional statement does not recognize the value that we pass in. So I just put it that S, if it doesn't meet any of these conditions that I've stated above, this should be the default. This should be the default results, and default results should be invalid day. So I can actually do. I can print line results, right? So, but this looks a bit weird to me. So let's rewrite this using a when statement. So in one way or the other, for those of us that are not in the last class, or that did not really understand what we did in last class, this is a quick recap of what we did in last class by what I just wrote finish for us. So let's quickly go into the when statement. The when statement is more of like, I can rewrite this whole code and says, in fact, can do something like this. In fact, this instead of, okay, let me just do file. There's something I want to simplify this code, but for the sake of, I don't want to oversimplify, because I can actually make these to like remove do something like this to, and make it equals to some other things, to the if, but it's kind of like, I can remove this result. There's no need for this result anymore. But like, don't let me do it like that. It's my, for the sake of, we are just starting. I believe some people on the group knows about code optimization. I can optimize this if and else statement to be a bit readable. This code is not well optimized as it is. So let me just quickly create this and say that for the when statement, we say when, let me stay in one place now. When day equals to, so I cannot write one. Stop now. Not do one. Like I said, That's what coming. So, I mean, do we understand? So what I did here is, now looking at this code, which one looks better and understandable? Like, instead of me writing all this long, imagine I keep writing this S and F statement for the 7 days of the week. You know, it's going to be so long, and I keep like, I don't know whether you get the analogy that I'm trying to.
I get it, but something I don't understand is that when you declare the val variable there, you put RS.
Yeah, so so the thing that I did here is there's what they call like there's what they call lambda usage in programming, most especially in functional programming, kind of. And Java 2 does have it. Most of object-oriented programming have actually had lambda expression. So this is like a lambda expression, a kind of. So what this is actually by default, this is of a data type string. If is of a data type string. So instead of me declaring a variable, like I can just do like this, for s equals to this. I can rewrite it like this and just do something like this. But in one way or the other, it means that I have to now do something like this and say res equals to you get, because this have to be, yeah. But like it makes my code more longer because I can actually simplify it better. So that's why I wrote it like that. And I need to put that in our subconsciousness as we are going, because we will not continue to write long code, because that's the essence of all this functional programming, is to just make things a bit simpler and kind of so. So that's why we have, so the when statement is more of like an if and else condition. It's like if and else expression too. It can be used to replace if and else expression. So what I'm saying is, res, which is like a result, I can call it like, it's because I've declared a result at the top. That's why just look at it like a result. So what it means that I'm saying that the results when day, and we've declared a value for day at the top, do you get? When day is equals to 1, then make the result to be the result equals to Sunday. When day equals to 2, make the result equals to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, something like that. It's still the same thing as saying if day is equals to 1, result equals to Sunday. If day equals to 2. But instead of having all those conjunction, all those joining together, this is where clear enough and it makes it more readable. Somebody that does not even really understand programming can say, oh, can relate and say, oh, 1, yeah, day of the week, 1 is Sunday, 2 Monday, 3. I mean, it's quite a bit readable. That's why we have that. And for those of us that understand Java, it just says, I mean, it's like a replacement of your switch in your Java, in Java. I don't know about JavaScript, whether JavaScript, I've never done JavaScript before, so I don't know how it's well. But core Java is, I mean, is more, it is a replacement of your switch, just when you use your switch statement. And the thing is, I should have put it, you can only compare value of the same type. You can't compare value of different type. That's one thing about when and even if an else statement. You can't say you want to compare a string with an integer. No, you can't do that. But the only thing, because imagine if I put if I change this to be string, it's going to throw error. because our days, the parameter that is taken in is of type of integer. So I can't say integer when integer equals to string. No, it's not possible. You can only compare that of the same type together. So I can only say when integer equals to integer. Okay, is 2 equals to 5 because they are of the same type. So putting a string here is never going to work. So do we understand this? Can I move forward? Do we have question at this junction? Because this is all about when statements. I'm done with when statements.
Hello.
Hello, I'm with you.
All right. Okay. Mo fẹ́ béèrè pé ká sọ pé a fẹ́ kó return more result, like for instance now tó bá yẹ pé the day of the week tó yẹ pé is the first day of the week, instead tó kàn fi máa return Sunday lásán, ká sọ pé we still want to perform another thing that like tó máa span to the next line. Báwo ni wọ́n ṣe máa ṣe?
Like Thomas span to the next line. Like let's say for instance now you want to do more thing,
okay,
right?
Okay.
Yeah, you have to put it in curly braces. So that's things about if this a lambda expression. In lambda expression, it does take like a unit. If you don't have to do anything more, you can actually make a lambda expression a straight line. But if you have to do more, you just have to put in curly braces to accept more thing inside.
Okay. And what we are going to return, should get the same data type, like in
if let's say for instance now I do have a function that has a return type. You know, if you have a function that has a return type, let's say for instance I have something like fun read, and let's say is returning integer, right? Is returning integer. You have to return integer. You can't return anything apart from integer. I have to return maybe something like this. Do you get my point? Yeah. So if at all, let's say for instance now you want to concatenate, maybe you now say inside here you want to declare that var day one equals to let's say for instance equals to 2, right? So, and in one way or the other, you want to do some other calculation and you want to append it to this Sunday. So you have to do everything and make sure that at the end of the day, you find a way to append it, unless what you just want to do is just like, let's say for instance, how should I put it? Let's say for instance, you just want to add, you want to quickly print something here. Let's say I want to print name here. Let's say I've just put print something here. You know, this function is going to run. This is a function on its own. If I put date to be 1, if I put date to be 1, if it goes inside here, it's going to print this name as well, set value for result, do you get? And print these results. I don't know whether you try to get my.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So that's that about that. Did anybody actually have any other not to cause any confusion? Let me just return it back to the way it is. In case of some people that wants to go through, not to go over it later. Yeah, so can I move on? Okay.
You can go ahead. I know it's a bit difficult, but we get it soon.
No, voila. So, I mean, let's quickly go to the while loop. The while loop is more of like continue running, continue doing something. Let's say, for instance, okay, let's put it that Buhari is being sworn into to be a president of Nigeria. We know by default, under every circumstances being good, Buhari will remain president for the next 4 years. So for each year, you know that statement that statement will continue to be on, it can only be terminated until it finishes tenure. That's the way while loop works. So a while loops will continue running irrespective of whoever is never going to stop. It will continue running until the condition that you put inside it is true. In as much as that condition is false, it will keep running and running and running and running and running until the condition is true. So it's more of like, if you want to do something that you want it to run consecutive time for, maybe for number of times, you can use a while loop and set a statement that, okay, terminate, maybe let's say for instance, I want to write a program to count 1 to 10. So I can say continue. I want to write a program that says print 1 to 10. So it keeps printing. So so what is expected of me is at the count of 10, I need to terminate that while loop and stop it so that it doesn't run again. So that's things about while loop. So while loop is like a code of law that is specified. Now stop. So let's quickly see that as an let's quickly look at how we can get that sorted. The keyword for the while loop is y. Still, call it y, still y. To get my point, like, so a quick one. Let's say I want to print 1 to 10, like I made an example. Let's say I make var, where I'm starting my counting should be 0. At least let it start from 0. And I want to count I want to print 1 to what? 1 to 10. Oh, okay. I'm just quickly going to write this and I'm going to explain the code for us. Oh, bad. Return it. Yeah, return it. So let me quickly explain this. You want water? Okay, come on. Yeah, please, we'll go there for like 2 minutes. Get what? Yeah. Return it. Yeah, take my water. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, guys. So this is a variable of a type of a data type of an integer, and I want to print something. I want to print 1 to 10, right? I want to print 1 to 10. So what I'm saying is like so what I'm saying is don't get out of this loop. Never get out of this loop. Keep reaching out. Keep reaching out to this loop. Keep reaching out to this loop. In as much that I is less than, okay, if I want to, in as much that I is less than 10, keep going through that loop. So let's just print the results and that will give us, okay, let me just use, so that we can see the way the way the code is actually if I wanted to actually print from 0 to 10, I'm going to explain that. So can we see the way it's print is like 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, this is what this thing is doing. I don't really know how to really. Okay, let me try to. I want to try to make sure we understand the way the while loop actually works. I'm putting my code in a debug mode so that we can see the way it works. Now, this code on a normal day, code is meant to run boom, pam, and that's what you get. Like, it's meant to be run one, but this while loop, we keep reaching out to this block of code until I is in as well that I is less than 10. So let's say, for instance, if I equals to 1, is I less than, if I is equals to 1, is 1 less than 10, true or false? I'm asking us question. No. Is 1 less than 10?
Yes, now.
Yeah, that's true. So it's keep reaching out to that condition as much that is true until it is no more true. That's when it's not going to reach out to that condition. So let's see what is going on. See the way my code is like. I'm trying to let us see high is 0 at that point. Just look at the value in front. I'm actually in debug mode. I is equal to 0. The next thing is, what's I plus plus mean is another way to add value together. If you want to add the same, how should I put it? Like what I means, I plus plus means like I'm saying I plus I. That's what it means. Instead of me saying I plus I, just write I plus plus. And if I want to say I minus I, it means that like I minus minus. So if you want to decrease or increase by 1, if you want to increase or decrease by 1, it's just do I plus plus for increments and decrements I minus minus. Majorly, when you look at some application that is like a counter, when you keep clicking on the button. I mean, when you keep clicking on the button and it keeps increasing by 1 by 1 by 1 by 1, this is actually the piece of code that does it. It's very, very simple. So those are little things that we're going to see on maybe on day 1 of when we start the main Android. So like you could see this code will keep going. I equals to 1 at this point. The next thing is I will be 2. It's keep reaching out to this block of code. It will keep running that loop. It's more of like a loop. It's keep running it. It's keep running it. It keep running it until we have, when we get to 9 is less than 10. But the next one, now, this is where I want us to see. This is 10. Is 10 less than 10? No.
No.
So that will be false. That code will never go. That it will break out of that loop. Do we understand how while loops works now? Did any one of us actually have any question? I just want us to, we can go back to look at the coding part of it, but I just want us to understand the concept. The concept is what matters most to me in all these things. Understand why we are using this and the reason why we are using them. Do we have any? Do we have anything to say at this point?
Well, no, really.
Okay. So if we don't have anything, so we can actually go into, let's look into the part of the break and continue. Break and continue is more of like, I'm running a while loop. How should I put? Like I'm running a kind of while loop, and I want to jump out of that while loop when a certain condition is met inside my code. Sorry. When a certain condition is met inside my code. I want to jump out of it. Like, you know, the only way I can break out of this while loop is until this condition is met. But let's say, for instance, I keep running a while loop, and I feel like at some point inside that my while loop, I want it to break out of it. I can actually set a break statement for it. Let's say, for instance, I'm going to repeat this line of code again for the break. Still the same word I was saying. So I can write a condition to say, if you can tell me, you can guess what's going to be the result of this. What's going to print out for us?
0 to 3, I guess.
0 to 3.
I think so.
Yeah, you're right.
3?
Actually, you're very right. 0 to 3. So what I'm saying at this point is, whenever I is equals to 4, don't break out of this loop. Do you get? So that's what break is all about. Break is all about, let's say, for instance, I'm running a for loop, or because there are different kind of loop. Let's say I'm running a for loop. Whenever I get to a condition and I feel like I'm okay with that condition, break out of that loop and don't run that loop again. So that's just what break is all about. So let me quickly run this. So instead of saying I'm going to print in 0 to 9 at this point, instead of saying I'm going to print in 0 to 9 at this point, it's going to break out when the condition of I equals to 4, which will be 0 to 3. Let me stop. Okay, let me just make this a print right deep. Oh, this is going to affect things. I need to comment this out later. Because I has increased, this code have actually increased I. So it's a problem at this point. Because by default, by the time that it's going to get here, high is already, okay, don't let me, for the sake, not so that when we are rewatching, let me just declare another variable here, which is, let me just call it J, all right? You can see the results here. It breaks out when the condition of I equals to 4. So the same thing, continue. The same thing is applicable to continue. Continue is more of like, continue is more of like, let me stop now. Stop disturbing daddy. Continue is more of like, even despite the fact that, I don't really know. I'm trying to look for simplest way to actually put it. The continue is more of like, when this condition, let's say, for instance, I'm saying, you know, at this point, this one, the break is breaking at when J equals to 4. But in continue, it means that you want it to skip the result of when J equals to 4, but still continue, don't break. You don't want it to print. You don't want it to do anything when J equals to 4, but you want it to skip that part and continue the other loop, because the upper loop has not finished. I don't know whether we understand that. Let's say, for instance, now, I want to go and greet somebody now. Look, let me put it like, some of us, Yoruba in one way or the other. Let's say, mo lọ sí Munlosi, should I put it? Like, I'm going from Ibadan to Osun. Okay, I'm going from Ibadan to Osun State. I can relate to that very well. So, like, let's say for instance now, mo wá ní pé kí n kí Ọba Ìkirè, mo pé tí bá dé Ìkirè o, in one way or the other, when I get to Ìkirè, though on a normal day, bóyá ó yẹ kí n kí Ọba Ìkirè ni, bóyá everybody tó bá ti gba tó lọ láti Ìbàdàn lọ sí Ọ̀ṣun State have to ó gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe sàdákátà sí Ọba Ìkirè. But in one way or the other, somebody have told me that if at all èmi ní exception wípé I can skip that part. Bóyá popsi mi, bóyá ọba ibìkan tó wá lágbára ju Ọba Ìkirè lọ ni, maybe nílé títà wa àwọn gbọ́dọ̀ forí balẹ̀ fún Ọba Ìkirè or one way or the other. So in that way, I have the power to actually skip Ìkirè in my journey and just continue my journey to Osun State. So in one way or the other, as I'm journeying, I didn't actually, even despite the fact that I passed through Ìkirè, I didn't enter Ìkirè town. Something just carried me all over. Bóyá mo ní ẹgbẹ́ ni, just carry me all over and skip that part of Ìkirè and move to part of Osun State where I'm going to. Do you get? I don't really know how to really put the example for us. But I mean, maybe that's the only way I can actually break it down for us. Like that condition, once this condition, I mean, once J equals to 4, you have to skip it. But still, the loop, the journey that I'm making, which is I'm going to when it is less than 10, I will continue that journey. I must continue that journey. So it doesn't break me out of that journey one way or the other. So that's the only way. I mean, that's the best way I can actually explain it for now. Or probably if somebody in the house understands what I'm trying to portray and can put it better than the way I put it, I will really appreciate it. I will really, really appreciate it. Let's say, for instance, now, I do have key. Let me name this. I'm declaring another variable, which is key. So from my explanation, who can tell me the result of this? I mean, if you understand my explanation, we should be able to tell me without printing, I mean, without running the code, you should be able to tell me the results.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm with you.
It should be 4 to 9, I guess.
4
to 9, yeah. 4 to the maximum this thing. That should be 4 to 9.
Okay. Did anybody have any objection?
This place that the print function is, I'm having a little bit of concern because execute this print before Koto
yeah, you are very, very,
affected.
You are very, very right. You're very, very right. You're very, very right. So in one way or the other, this thing is, sorry, that's a mistake on my part. This should actually go into here. And this should, I'm going to explain why it's like that. It should be like this.
Or maybe we should just try it like that first and see
no.
how it's going to be.
This should be like this. So the same thing. Did anybody understand why I restructured that code? So looking at this code again, can you let us look at this code again and see what's going to print. this block of code, what's going to be the result? I've actually restructured the code.
Hello.
Hello.
Mi ò rò pé yẹ kí ṣé ó yẹ ká increase kìíní yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀mejì ni. Mo wò bó kàn yẹ kó kàn jẹ́ if k is equals 4, maybe continue, then I'm a printer, I'm a increment outside the block of if.
No, so let me explain this line of code for us. Okay. I do have an integer of k equals to 0. I want to print 0 to 9, which is like 1 to 10, because I'm starting my counting from 0. That's why it's looking like that. So I'm printing 0 to 9. Now, I say this while loop is definitely going to be true in as much that k, in as much that the more we increase k, is still less than 10, is continuing going to increase. Now, at this point, I'm setting an option to say, I don't want it to, when it's reached 4, I don't want it to print 4. That's what I'm saying. Even despite the fact that when the condition is equals to 4, even when it met that condition that I want it to, I don't want it to break out, but I want it to continue. But I don't want it to print that value. Do you get? So despite the fact that I have to, if I don't increase at this point, it means that, let's say for instance, when it gets here, k equals to, for instance, k equals to 3 here, or let's say k equals to 4, and when k equals to 4, it doesn't enter into this part, there's no how it's going to increase. Let me run the code so that we understand better. If I don't run the code, you will not really understand. Something funny is happening.
Yes. You see, other point nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé, for instance, nǹkan tí ò tiẹ̀ yẹ kọ́kọ́ start from this thing, I think increase it before you print.
Yeah, that's the error that I make. Thank you for spotting that. Then I think that's the main error that I made. Yeah. It's like we are not communicating. No, it's only one person that is following me in this class. You know, Shelley, is it that it's getting harder and harder and harder that we can't comprehend it?
I think they're calling on me.
No, it's not hard. Though. It's not hard. Though.
That's magic.
Yeah. How can I explain? I don't know. I don't really know how to really explain again. Like, how can I explain this particular part of the code? Bro, I mean, probably maybe if you can explain it better to the house.
Brother Ojo, over to you.
Okay, let me try. Okay, in Gotoman, this continue is a keyword. Continue, break is a keyword. But iṣẹ́ wọn ó yàtọ̀ tọ̀. If normally, irú while loop yìí nsìn, ó máa print value k until tí condition tó wà nínú bracket yẹn. Ṣé lè fi mouse yẹn sórí ibẹ̀ jọ? Sorry, the while loop condition. So ó máa execute gbogbo àwọn nǹkan tó bá wà ní around the curly braces Z until TK tó bá less than 10. Sorry, tó bá equals to or more than 10. Is that right, Sabi, bro?
Yeah. Yeah.
So àwọn ìgbà míì wà tó jẹ́ pé téèyàn bá ń kọ code, a lè fẹ́ máa jẹ́ kí nǹkan kan a lè fẹ́ jẹ́ kí code máa execute lọ, but ó máa ní àwọn condition kan jẹ́ pé a máa fẹ́ stop ẹ̀. Irú break yẹn sìn, tá bá lo break tó bá ti ń ṣiṣẹ́ lọ, nǹkan tá bá fi sí before break yẹn, ibẹ̀ ló máa ṣiṣẹ́ dé tó fi máa stop. But irú continue yìí, ó mean pé tí k tó bá ti jẹ́ 4, kó má print k, kó má execute nǹkan tó wà nísàlẹ̀ yìí, but kó execute àwọn nǹkan, kó print àwọn nǹkan tó bá
tẹ̀lé 4 yẹn. So ó gbọ́dọ̀ meet 4 yẹn then.
Yes, kò ní print.
But look at kò print 4. All right, but it will print from 0 to 3, and from 3 I will meet it because k is 4. I will meet 4. I will print next number or letter after 4 to the end of 10. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, just to buttress, thank you, my brother. Just to buttress what he said. Yeah, just to buttress what he said is like, you continue to do something. I mean, you running something, and wrong so certain level, you want it to meet some certain requirements. You set a special requirement along the line, then do something or skip. Is that how you break it out? But in the case of continue, it means that like it's still going to continue the first condition that set it for, but must skip the main condition they set in way, something like that. But I believe that the two explanations that we get from our brother should be able to that should be clear enough to us. Abi?
Benny, thank you.
Hello, brother.
Yeah.
Show me return keyword no, like the you leave the return completely from a function or from a loop in place of a break.
Please come
return keyword no, like
yes
because in order this thing, okay.
Yeah, you can actually use a return keyword like this. It's still more of like a break because you're saying that you want it to return to stop that. So
I think it's more understandable, the if and why statements. I think I understand it a bit better.
Yeah, so I mean that's that. The next thing is the array functional, the array part. Should we go into array tonight, or I should leave us like this and digest this?
Me, I would suggest we should do was for now and digest this till next week. Have you been willing so?
Yes, let's digest this one.
It might be I slowed you, but
the array of the thing, I'm going to just do the basic array because I mean
they call it then. So
like it's more of like a data structure, and which is actually right. One wide. No, array. We've not talked about array. Not talking about array. I don't know. No, we've not talked about any type. Yeah, I just only talked about the data type, what an array is all about. But okay. I didn't go into like details
array
of
functions and
array function. So it's more of like a data structure. I mean, it's very, very wide data structure. So array is part of it, and like it's very, very wide. But it's just I'm just gonna brush it on the surface. But very, very on the surface is actually for people that understand programming very well, is like a set body on its own that
When the
if you really
questions are
want to know how optimization works better, you need to really understand what data structure is all about. It's not something that I'm going to really focus on in the course of this whole thing that we are doing together. It's for us to go and make research on our own and learn better. But next class, we're going to be looking at array, for loop, and introduction to object-oriented programming. I mean, that's when we started looking at classes and objects. So please,
when
let's
question meaning okay, so is that the way they can design the front end of a app or of a
so
website?
these, okay, now let's say for instance now, all this code, they are the functional part of the program. They are the functional part of a mobile app. You see, when you click on the button, or when you click on, when you scroll up and scroll down, and probably you see list of your messages on the WhatsApp. These are things that actually happens on the back end of it, and there is UI design of it. So what you interact with that you see on the surface is the UI part of mobile application. But these are the things that make it interactable. That's why we have non-functional and functional application. Non-functional application is more of like you build the UI alone. Like it's just like one button leading to another screen, but it's not really, it's not interactable. It's not pulling data from anywhere. It's not performing any function. So these are, I mean, if you understand this part, are the things that will make it functional. Let's say, for instance, like I told us earlier, you want to build a mobile application that when you keep clicking on a button, it keeps displaying, it keeps counting, increasing 1, 2. The more you click on it, the more the number keeps increasing, right? Keeps increasing, keeps increasing. I mean, how do you get to do that? You need an increment. You need to set like a value, like a variable at the top, and you need to keep increasing it by, I mean, I++. You need to keep increasing that variable by 1, right? By 1. And if you want to decrease it too, by just like Emo Teba fellows shopping. How many this thing need like how many items or how many quantity do you want? Like you press a plus or minus button, minus and plus. I mean, this is the basic code that does it. If I want to do an increment, I just said, okay, when you click on that plus button, execute this code. Execute the I++. When you click on the minus button, execute I minus.
Okay.
And I update and I find a way to update my view as I'm increasing it and decreasing it. Do you get? So those, I mean, this is the logic part of the whole application. So that's why you have to understand how to build the UI, and you still have to understand how to make it functional. So that's what mobile is all about. So I don't know whether we still have any more questions. Nobody's coming.
Any other question else?
Yeah, irrespective of no question, we can call it a day. Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Should I do that? I'm trying to why it's not see.
I can stop streaming because
okay, I've seen where to make you a note. Yeah, Mozifini whole squad.
Not yet. Okay. I just need to stop streaming first.